Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Sean and Sean podcast. Today, we are going to be focusing on a way too early mock draft top 10. There have been people doing mock drafts since August. I think those people are insane. I mean, we don't even know. We didn't even know who was going to be in. We still technically don't know who's going to be in. But I am Sean Usher. Let me put you over to my esteemed co host here, Sean Cummings. Got something to say to the people, Sean?
What is up? Thank you guys for listening to us. I know this is way too early to be talking about mock drafts, but at the same time, is it not early enough? Think
I
about
mean,
it.
it's always good to have fun. It's always good to have fun.
Agree.
All right, so in our scenario here, we're going to be interchanging. So you got the odds. I'm going to give you the odds. Just give you some easy picks there. At least the first pick, and
Give
I'm
me
going to
some
take the
easy stuff.
evens. The main reason I'm taking the evens, you see the gear. Dallas is number 10. I'm sorry, I had to take it. So,
Yep.
to the top end, just showing, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 1. So, Sean, with the first overall pick in the NFL draft, who do the Jacksonville Jaguars take?
Now, me picking number one, I feel almost as lucky as Jacksonville when New York beat the Rams. So I'm glad I got the number one pick. Now, right now, my number one pick, Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence. He is the savior that
Oh,
Jacksonville has been waiting for, and at this point, I don't think it's any surprise to anybody. I'm surprised that Tony Khan or Sahid Khan hasn't written the name in permanent marker on that draft card and just delivered it to Roger Goodell's house right now. I don't know why we're waiting a couple of months. So that's my number one pick, Trevor
I don't think we need
Lawrence.
to wait either. I don't think we. I don't think we need to wait either. Trevor Lawrence is a unique talent that doesn't come around all that often. We've known since what his freshman year that he was going to be the number 1 overall pick.
Whenever he
Just I
came
mean, we
out, he
should
was
have
going to be number
stenciled him
one.
how many years ago?
Yep. Very similar to
Now
Andrew
for the
Luck.
number
He's going to be that
2
transcendent
pick that
player.
we got going on here. I agree. I agree. Hopefully that they upgrade that offensive line, like unlike what they did for Andrew Luck. So the New
For
York
real.
Jets have that number 2 overall pick.
A lot of
At
directions.
this point, with how the Jets have done things, I I could go Penny Sewell if they still want to, keep Sam Darnold in the mix. I could go receiver, considering they have who in terms of talent at receiver, but no. Sam Darnold and the Jets are in for a divorce. Sam Darnold has not lived up, let it be mono or let it be whatever ails him. Sam Darnold needs to change the scenery. The Jets need him. That's why I'm going with Justin Fields, Ohio State quarterback. No, I'm not going with Zach Wilson here as much as people want to make him a darling.
Ooh.
As Justin Fields has improved every year since he's been at Ohio State. He's got literally all the tools. Since high school, he's been linked to Trevor Lawrence. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is the better player, but Justin Fields is not that far off. What? I,
That's,
I'm sticking to what I'm
I'm,
saying.
yeah, nothing to argue with about that pick. Justin Fields has certainly showed in the past couple of years, even this season, shortened season, how well he's done, how well he's performed. And even though Ohio State just lost the national championship game, it wasn't as if Justin Fields had played bad. He's performed very well. So I
It
think
wasn't
New
his fault.
York could benefit.
That,
No, it certainly wasn't. He didn't do anything bad.
who was manning
Alabama
up
just had a
against that
great
Alabama
gameplay.
that
Mm-mm.
Alabama defense wasn't stopping him at first, but you can't keep up. I mean, Alabama. Look, you got what the Kansas City Chiefs, and you got Alabama in terms of offense. So someone's up at number 3.
In terms of offense, yeah, Green Bay.
This is going to be a very unique pick. We've got the Miami Dolphins. We got Miami Dolphins via Houston. So sad for those Houston Texans. I would be
Oh man,
sad for Deshaun Watson, but he made his bed. He made his bed. I'm sorry. Like, come on,
yeah.
bud. So, where are we going? Which way are we going here?
Ooh, I had a big debate on number three, and I'm thinking we need to protect the blind side for our franchise quarterback.
You do.
I thought Sewell. I thought, but then, but then I had memories of Tua taking over in the national championship game, and it was overtime, and he throws that touchdown pass to win the game to
Oh.
Devontae Smith. I'm going Devontae Smith. I think that he shouldn't have left Miami after the championship game. He should have stayed there. He should have found himself a house. He should have started practicing with Tua right
So,
away. Devontae Smith, my number three pick. I'm writing that in permanent marker. Call him small, call him undersized. He's 6'1", 175, and if
hey, Sean,
coaches can put some weight
just
on him.
give us your Devonta Smith again a little bit. Like,
The what?
I just here's my. I'm not saying Devonta Smith won't be good in the NFL. I'm not saying he won't be good in the NFL. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he's not awesome. I'm saying he's not a top 3. I'm saying he's not a top 10 pick. That's what I'm saying.
What?
I'm
Now,
not
this is our
everything
Heisman
else.
winning
Yeah,
Devontae Smith.
he's
You
gonna
need to
come
put
in
some
and
respect
he
on
could
that
be
name.
awesome.
Put some respect on that name. I will look up all the awards he just won. How dare you say he's not going to be in the top 10? How dare you, sir? Blasphemous.
I'm not gonna. But I mean, let's just remember. Let's just remember some of the people who won. Desmond Howard won the won the Heisman. Desmond Howard. Honestly, was he more than a gimmick player on Green Bay? You should know.
He was a kick returner, too. Okay.
Hmm? Just asking.
He was,
Was that?
he was a kick returner, too.
No, I think Devonta Smith is going to be more than that. And on a Miami offense, he is perfectly suited for Miami's offense when you have Devontae Parker and Preston Williams on the outside. He is a perfect slot receiver for that offense. It's just so fact number 3 is too rich for me. If they could trade back to, let's say, 13, you can get me. I can mess with that. But it's way too rich for me in the beginning there. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
He's going
saying.
top 10. He's going top 10.
Now, now, now onward, we got
Okay.
number 4, the Atlanta Falcons. And I mean, the Falcons could go a lot of directions here. They need defensive help. I mean, do they have any pass rushers? Do we have any pass rushers worthwhile in this draft? I
Ooh.
mean, they could upgrade their offensive. I mean, they could go corner. They've got a bunch of corners, but are any of them worth a salt? They could go tight end. Kyle Pitts is here. And who's their tight end? Hayden Hurst. Ain't he 30? No, I'm not going with any of that.
Yeah.
I'm going QB out of BYU, Zach Wilson, because Matt Ryan, a year from now, they'll be able to get out of his deal. Zach Wilson will be able to learn behind Matt Ryan. He'll be able to come on a little bit and maybe be ready. to get it going about maybe late next season, maybe next year, and they'll be able to walk away from Matt Ryan without having too much fuss. It's a smart
Ooh,
move. You get your QB of the future before the QB you have is can't play anymore. Your Green Bay Packers have been doing that for the last little bit. It's been working out. Let's see. I mean, I don't know if the current one's going to work out, but we'll see.
ah, ooh, three quarterbacks in the top four. Now, I know you and I talked before, and we were talking about what's the over under on quarterbacks being taken in the top 10, and we put it at 3.5.
You know,
And
I said four.
you, you went over, I went under.
Yeah. In our
Taken in the
scenario
top 10,
here, it's going to be over.
but it's not looking good for me in this scenario, okay? Because we have three of the
In
first
this
four players off
scenario,
the board. Yeah, this
well, it's because
scenario.
you're that big on it's the Atlanta thing that's killing you there, because you
I think
disagree here.
so. I I think if Atlanta can add more, they need defensive help, but number four is not going to be a good spot for them to get defensive help. Maybe they do trade back. Maybe they say, "Hey, Matt
If they
Ryan,
can,
last
if they
hurrah."
can get a trade, if they can get a
If they
trade
can,
partner, considering
mm,
how hard has it been for any team to get a trade partner? Like, let's look at last year. You think this year's going to be
no,
that much different than last year? Now,
no.
with the next pick, you have
Cincinnati
the Cincinnati
Bengals.
Bengals at number 5. All right, you go ahead and go through the motions
All right,
because I think
Cincinnati.
everybody already knows who's going here.
I don't know. This one I also had a little toss up between because you're thinking, who's available at number five? If you're Cincinnati, you probably don't want to trade back. You're thinking, we got to get Joe Burrow something, something to go on the offense. So I
You
don't
got to make
think
sure
they
he
go
doesn't die.
defense. Yeah, but you also have to make sure that you're scoring points too, right? So
Right, right.
number five, Cincinnati. With the way Joe Burrow's season ended, I'm pretty sure he's got to be running to Mike Brown's house right now or driving over there, knocking on the door and telling him, "Get me Penny Sewell. I'm not going to have another injury like this ever again. You protect me." So my number five pick is going to be Penny Sewell.
Getting Benny Sewell in the first round, maybe a Wyatt Davis in the second round if he falls.
Maybe. I mean, the other choice that I was thinking of for Cincinnati would have been some offensive help, Jamar Chase. We see that AJ Green's on the decline of his career. He hasn't been performing as well. So
Again, is
maybe some offensive help.
I mean, again, is that rich though? Is that rich for, that's all I'm asking. Is that I like
Yeah.
wide receivers, but I mean, in this particular draft, is it rich? I mean, Jamar Chase, that's my wide receiver one, and I mean, I'm sitting there saying, is that rich,
For Cincinnati,
considering who we got
I
coming
think
up
with the
in the
with the
next,
team they have, I
in the
think
next,
Cincinnati doesn't need a wide
but
receiver.
I agree with you. Cincy,
More value at tackle.
well, T. Higgins, you got
Tyler
Boyd.
Boyd.
They could add a receiver, but late because this is a deep draft. They need a different type of
Yeah.
receiver. Also, Jamar Chase is more of what they have. They could get someone
Yeah.
who's like a De'Amni Brown or Amari Rogers late.
Well, maybe they would, maybe in a different draft or in the future, maybe they go after someone like Kyle Pitts, someone who can do some damage and create mismatch in the
True.
intermediate. So, but right now,
Oh well, I
Cincinnati
mean, you
sticking.
got
Joe
Pat.
Burrow
Pat.
still
I
recovering.
can't say it's you. You got Baby Gronk. You got Baby Gronk who might fall to the second round.
Maybe.
Yeah. So all right. So we got the Eagles up next, and I know, I was saying value of wide receivers and this, and that, but this is the Philadelphia Eagles we're talking about. They screw up like it's not difficult for them to screw picks up. I'm not letting them screw this up, even though I'd love it if they did. I'm gonna give them Jamar Chase. They screwed up wide receiver last year. No offense to Jalen Rager, but you had Justin Jefferson and Brandon Ayuk on the board. Not to mention you probably could have traded up to try to get CD Lamb. So I'm going Chase. Run into the board. I know Philly probably won't do it because from what I hear, they don't value wide receiver. They'll probably take Kyle Pitts from what I'm hearing, which is nonsense, even though Kyle Pitts is still awesome, but they need outside weapons. So unless they're going to develop Kyle Pitts to go outside, I mean, let's just be honest here.
Yeah. So how does it feel drafting the number two wide receiver in the draft to your division foe?
And my board eats the number one wide receiver. And it doesn't feel great. Doesn't feel great at all. But at the same time, I'm hearing that Adam Gase is a front runner for the Philly job, so I will trust Adam
Congratulations.
Gates and screw it up.
Congratulations.
So, all right, up next we've got
Speaking of drafting
we've got
for
the Detroit
division
Lions.
foes, yeah, Detroit Lions. All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I mean, when has Detroit ever been a threat to Green Bay? Let's be honest here. When have they ever done anything to be any type of threat?
I think back when they had a guy named Barry Sanders. It's been a minute though. It's been a
Were
minute.
they really though?
No, they weren't. No. Ooh. All right. So we have Detroit sitting number seven. Now, as much as I'd hate to
Yep.
say it, I love Matthew Stafford, but with a new GM coming to
You
town,
don't have to hate
new
to
head
say
coach
that.
coming to town. Now, see, I hate to say it because I don't want them to get a good franchise quarterback, right? I'm all for Green Bay. I don't want my
True.
division foe to get stronger. So, in my original top 10, I had Zach Wilson at number seven. But is that realistic? Because we see quarterbacks come off the board so quick. And
They'd have to
here I
trade
am at
up,
this
my
point.
opinion.
Yeah, they'd have to trade up if they wanted to get Zach Wilson. But here we are, number seven, three quarterbacks already going off the board. So I have to change directions because I just said before that my over under on quarterbacks in the top 10 was under, and I can't pick that fourth quarterback. So I have to go opposite direction. Detroit's going defense because Matt Patricia didn't do them any favors. I got to go with my boy, Micah Parsons, Penn State's anchor in that defense. That's who
Well,
my
I
number
mean,
seven pick is.
they actually have a linebacker now because who who's that Florida guy that they had that was not good? What Jari Davis, Gerard Davis,
Gerard Davis. Jared
Gerard
Davis,
Davis?
yeah.
Nah, no, he wasn't it.
Yep, they gotta get that defense back in order if they want any chance of
I'm
competing in
with
the
you.
NFC
I
North.
mean,
And they still have Stafford. It's not like Stafford's doing bad. But at
the
the same
beautiful,
time, like if they're thinking about making a
well, the
quarterback
beautiful
change,
thing about
right now would be it.
the beautiful thing about Parsons, beautiful beautiful thing about Parsons is position flexibility there because he actually used to be a defensive end. They transitioned him to linebacker just to get him on the field. So he barely played linebacker. Detroit wanted to put him back at defensive end. I don't think that'd be much of a problem.
Not at all.
Now, onward bound, we're up next with the Carolina Panthers at 8. And with Carolina, it could go many different ways. I'd go corner. They do need corner help. You took Marco Parsons. That was like my front runner right there, to be honest. Could have
Gotcha.
went offensive line. But in truth, in this situation, Teddy Bridgewater, as much as I love Teddy B, he is limited. He was limited when he came out. He's even more limited since the coming back from the injury. So, and also with his contract the way it's shaped up, you can bring in the QB of the future, Mister Trey Lance, and develop him behind Teddy B for one more year, and then next thing you know, you can get out of Teddy B's contract, and you've got your QB of the future there for that head coach, and maybe they're competing in the NFC South there, which is I think about to have a huge turnaround in the next 2 to 3 years.
I agree with the turnaround. It's not a bad spot to take quarterback. I'm not ready to give up on Teddy Bridgewater yet.
Because I mean, what you got? I get that. I get that. It's just he's limited. He's limited. Trey Lance
He
literally
is.
is like he came out of a lab that is
Yeah,
here's a QB that you can mold.
I think I remember people saying some similar stuff about another North Dakota State University quarterback, but what's
Right,
his
right, right.
name?
But from what I'm hearing, Trey Lance is a lot way more humble than said guy that you're talking about. You
Then
notice,
Carson
you
Wentz.
notice I skipped over Philly. I skipped over Philly trying to fill that void at QB. I think that's because they're gonna have a new coach who maybe thinks they can fix Carson Wentz. But hey, but no. In
Uh,
this small, like I mean, Trey Lance puts him on the bench for a year behind Teddy, a guy who knows how to be careful with the football. Let him learn behind a guy like Teddy, not a guy like Sam Bradford, who was barely even there, or Nick Foles, who wants to play. Teddy is one of the most unselfish players in the game.
all right, I get
Just
it.
saying.
Now, now, what if Carolina loses
Okay.
Joe Brady? Because Joe Brady has done some good work with Joe Burrow. He's done good work with Teddy Bridgewater. Now, Carolina didn't do well offensively this past season, but you can't really put that on Teddy because he is without Christian McCaffrey for what, all but 3 games?
Also,
You
I
get
don't think
McCaffrey
I
for a
don't think
full
you can
16, and
let
the offense looks different.
I don't think you let an offensive coordinator leaving scare you away from taking a quarterback.
No, I wouldn't say it scares, but you're thinking quarterback development.
I,
You're taking Trey Lance, who plays North Dakota State University. Not saying that they're a bad
right,
college, but what were some of the
but that had
criticisms of Carson Wentz when he was drafted that high? Oh, look at the competition he faced. Look at the level of competition it was. Trey Lance, we have some tape on, but they only played 1 game this past season. How many
I,
quarterbacks have we
I
seen
get
have
you.
a good
The
sophomore
difference,
year? They come back junior year, and
the,
junior year
but
they just fall back down to earth.
the there between if you just want to go Trey Lance and Carson Wentz had something that bugged him in college that's continued to bug him in the pros. Injuries. Trey Lance didn't have that issue. Also, well, I think what is it? 47 touchdowns, a goose egg, and interceptions.
That's impressive. No matter what level you are, high school, Division One, two, three, that's impressive.
But the defense gets lucky, like sometimes. All right, but moving on.
Ooh, number
Your
nine, we're
next pick
moving on to
is.
Denver.
Oh wait. Yep, number 9, Denver. You're up.
Den- Denver
Lots of
Broncos, number
ways Denver
9.
can go.
Yeah, this will be the first pick without John Elway as GM in a long time. So I don't know if that's going to be a good or a bad
I
thing
bet
for
they're
him,
rejoicing.
but but in an alternate universe, a parallel timeline, maybe they would have taken a quarterback had 4 not gone ahead of them. So they're thinking, well, we got to stick with Drew Lock. We surrounded him with some good talent. Um, you know, could we have some offensive line help in there? Maybe, but Sewell's already gone. I'm not sure anybody else would
And
be
they already
worthy of a
signed,
top 10
what
pick.
was it, Bowles to like, they already signed Bowles to a big deal. They've got Jawan Taylor, so they're not going interior
Yeah.
offensive line this early.
Nah, so they're
I don't
making
think
room.
Jawan Taylor opts out again, does he?
He shouldn't. This year showed us that the season went on successful. They didn't cancel any games. They had to
It,
postpone some. They had to delay some. Maybe
right,
played a
right.
little bit later on in the week. But when you think about it, they played a
You,
full
you,
16 game schedule. Every team played a
you,
full 16 games. Now, if we would have talked
you had
about
one.
this 6 months ago, you'd be like, no, they're not playing a full 16 games. They're not playing a full season. Somewhere, someone's going to lose a game. They pulled it off. So I think this would give a lot of players hope. Now, there have been some positive
Especially
tests
with
here and
like
there.
advancements and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, getting better with precautions.
Uh,
But Denver might not need a
Baseball's
whole
led
lot of
more
fun.
fans in.
Yeah, even the playoff games are letting more fans in. So I think those are
Yeah.
all good and
Buffalo.
positive signs. Yeah, Buffalo needs it. Yes. All right, but back to the pick number 9. Denver doesn't need
So
much
who are
help
we
on the
going? Where are we
offensive
going
side
here
right
for
now.
Denver?
I think they would be very fortunate if someone like Micah Parsons had fallen any further. But defensive side of the ball, they're going to get Von Miller back, and I think they need to get a number 1 corner to really solidify that defense. So we're going with national champion Patrick Surtain the second.
Nice, nice pick, nice pick. I
Yes.
like it. I like it. Patrick Sertain is a technician, which should work really well in that Vic Fangio defense. Technical difficulties there, but yeah, no, like I like him for Denver. Well, actually, I like him for most teams, just because I don't know what his speed is. Maybe he's not as slow as people make him out to be, but like his technical savvy could work really well in an offense or a defense like the Broncos run with Vic Fangio.
Yep, I think he's going to be that number 1 corner. That's what they need, especially when you're playing in the West. You're going against teams like the Chargers, who have Keenan Allen. You have Kansas City with all those weapons. I think locking yourself down a number 1 corner, very smart.
Yeah, I agree there. Lock it down. I see him as the Richard Sherman type. Which brings me to Dallas. And Dallas could go many ways. I hear people talking tight end, which, something that would be fun, but you're out your goddamn mind. Just saying. I know Kyle Pitts is a unique talent, but you're out your minds. You're out your minds.
Oh, come on, come on,
Trying to
come
put
on.
Kyle Pitts in
You
Dallas.
you don't want a healthy
Then,
Dak
like,
Prescott throwing for 6,000 yards? Come on.
I do. I do. I do. Trust me, I do. But at the same time, you need to defend something. And there's two guys to be looking at right here. I can't give the Cowboys another Michigan defensive lineman. So Quiddy Pay is not my pick. Honestly, I'm going to go with Caleb Fairley out of Virginia Tech. The guy,
Okay.
I like his ball skills. Patrick Surtain is more of a technician than Caleb Farley is. It's going to be really interesting with Dallas next year if they did get Caleb Farley, because Caleb Farley is a converted wide receiver. Well, Trayvon Diggs, their corner last year that they took, who actually came on real strong, was also a converted wide receiver. So it's going to
All
be
right.
it'd be real interesting having Dallas have a bit of a type there.
Nice. So we're thinking that two cornerbacks going
So
top 10.
looks like so rounding out the top 10 here, we've got Trevor Lawrence, QB Clemson to Jacksonville, Justin Fields, QB Ohio State to the New York Jets, Devonta Smith, wide receiver Alabama to Miami, Zach Wilson, QB BYU to Atlanta. Three QBs in the top five. Spicy. Penny Sewell falls all the way to Cincinnati. I saw mocks having Cincinnati take Penny Sewell number 2, so that's just beautiful. Jamar
Mm-hmm.
Chase, wide receiver, going number 6
Yeah.
to Philadelphia Eagles. He's at LSU for those people who don't know schools. Micah Parsons, linebacker, Penn State, going to the Detroit Lions. Trey Lance, QB, North Dakota State, going to Carolina. 4 QBs in the top 10. Then going to round it out with 2 corners. Patrick Surtain, the second, out of Alabama, and Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech.
You know what I think is
Fun
interesting about
stuff.
this top 10? You know what I think is really interesting about our picks is that
What is that?
um, when I was picking, I was looking at what does the team need, right? And I think for some of mine, we're thinking, Miami didn't need a quarterback. Cincinnati didn't need a quarterback. So I had some early teams that didn't have quarterback needs. So, I'm looking at a piece that could add value, but with your picks, you're thinking New York, you're thinking Atlanta, Philadelphia, Carolina. Those first 4 picks that you have, those even picks, all of those teams at some level have a quarterback need.
Okay.
And as the more I'm looking at this, I still want to say that I'm under on that 3.5 quarterbacks going in the top 10. But the more I'm looking at this, in future
It's just,
pods, I might be changing my mind. I might be switching to the over. But for the sake of
it's too much
competition, I'm going to
talent.
stick with the under. I'm sticking the under. But it's
It's
just
too
like
much
the
talent.
NFL. You need a franchise quarterback to be successful.
This,
And how many
this
times have we
is
seen a quarterback go early and be
this is not the
overvalued
Jake
just because
Locker
there's the
Blaine
need?
Gabbert year.
Uh,
Right.
people are
This is
hoping.
not the
People are
Jake Locker
hoping.
Blaine Gabbert year. Who else was that? Was it Christian Ponder who also went in the first round?
Jacksonville finally got it right. They finally got a top 5 pick right. Fall apart on them.
I'm just all right. So let's get the games out of the way this weekend. We'll get some playoff games too.
All right.
So
Alrighty. We
now
have 4 games this week.
let's do the NFC first. Rams Green Bay. I'm picking Green
Rams and
Bay,
Green
but I think
Bay.
it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a difficult game. I think it's gonna be a
I
very difficult
wonder.
game. I'm picking Green Bay.
I wonder who I'm gonna pick. It's really tough. Uh,
I'm picking Green Bay, but
you
it's
know,
gonna be difficult. It's not gonna be a cakewalk. That Rams
yeah.
D
So
is legit.
yeah, that's the. I'm picking
And
the Green. I'm
then
picking the Packers no matter what. And even in
and
confidence,
then
doing
New
confidence picks,
Orleans
I gave Green Bay 12 points this week. Just
12.
because the
Ooh.
Rams defense is so strong.
All right, all
But
right. New
Green Bay's
Orleans, Tampa
offense is going
Bay,
to overcome.
3.
They're in Lambeau, cold weather.
Uh, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, 3. Oh, going back to that Green Bay Rams game, I do want to see because he actually has gotten better and better every week. I just want to know is Dallas's receivers just that good? Because they made Jalen Ramsey look stupid. He needed a BSPI call for him to feel good about himself. So is he going to feel good about himself this coming week, or is he going to feel stupid going against probably the best receiver in the league?
It's going to be good. It's going to be a good battle. It'll be Aaron Donald versus Aaron Rodgers. It'll be Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams. But I think we're going to have a lot of smaller role players really pick up any slack because Jalen Ramsey is a good
And
cornerback. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw to Devontae nearly as much or as often as he had in previous weeks against different opponents. So I wouldn't be surprised if this week we saw a little bit
well,
more of MVS, if we saw some Robert Tanyan.
you know what else you need, right? You know what else you need? You need Mike Pettin
We need David
to
Bakhtiari back.
really
We
focus.
need our tackle.
No, no. You need Mike Pettin to really focus and stop that running game.
Oh, see, that's the thing. Oh, so the fun thing about Green Bay is when they're in a lead, they're forcing the opposing offense to throw the ball to play catch up. Because when we looked at last year's playoffs, I know different
But
roster,
McVay's a
different
different
years,
beast.
but I know, but something that has always seemed to be
McVay's a
there to
different
kind of
beast.
haunt Green Bay in the playoffs is going against a strong running game, and
Um, all right,
they got to
moving
be able to
on.
stop it.
New Orleans, New Orleans, Tampa Bay 3. I ain't gonna say much about this one. I think it's gonna be the same result, different game, same result. Personally,
All right, so
New
I'm
Orleans has
going
a
New
really
Orleans
good
over Tampa.
defense. New Orleans has a really good defense. Tom Brady has shown the propensity to get a little frustrated. So does Mike Evans, no matter how good they can be. And then Alvin Kamara is awesome.
Yeah. I've got New Orleans in this one as well. I think it'll be a good battle. We're seeing Breeze and Brady in the playoffs, and this is a matchup that you've always wanted to see in the playoffs. I mean, you're expecting it to happen in the Super Bowl, but now it's happening in a divisional round. I don't think it makes it any less exciting. You're seeing two future Hall of Famers go head to head in the playoffs, and that just really amps things up. So I'm excited to see that. I got to go with New Orleans. I'm giving them a little bit of advantage because they're at home. I know Drew Brees is coming back. He's been back for a couple of weeks. He's looked pretty well. I just wasn't overly impressed watching Tampa Bay last week against Washington. They came away with a very,
Right.
very small
I
victory
wasn't either.
against a Washington team that you would have expected a blowout for. I
They should
didn't
have
expect
lost. They
Washington
should have
to
lost.
hang in the game for as long as they did. Now, I picked Tampa Bay to win last week, but as that game progressed, I really wanted to see Washington come through and and
And
upset Tampa Bay. Now I know Washington was the division winner; they were the higher seed, they were the home field team. But everybody expected Tampa Bay to win, at least everybody outside of that Washington D.C. area. But as that game progressed, I
here's the
wanted
thing.
to see the red.
Here's
I
the
almost
thing.
said it. Ooh, I want to see the Washington football team come away with the victory.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say something that's taboo to say this year. The NFC East is not as bad as people made it out to be. Did they have some unfortunate luck? A lot of unfortunate luck. But I mean, Dallas took Pittsburgh to its breaking point. Dallas had some games. Washington beat
Hold
Pittsburgh.
on. Pittsburgh.
Hey, was Pittsburgh a playoff team? Did Pittsburgh beat Buffalo? Or no, Tennessee? Did Pittsburgh beat Tennessee?
Pittsburgh couldn't beat Cleveland 2 consecutive weeks.
I, they beat they smashed Cleveland earlier in the year. Don't knock, don't sit here. I'm just saying.
Beginning of the year doesn't mean
I'm just
anything.
saying.
Pittsburgh was
I'm just
overrated.
saying the NFC
Overrated.
East. I agree Pittsburgh's overrated, but Pittsburgh was still a playoff team. And I'm just saying the NFC East was not as bad as people made it out to be. It's not like they were the Jets or they were some other the Jacksonville Jaguars or even I can't even say the Houston Texans were that bad. You had circumstances that all of these teams could, with the proper adjustments, could be playoff teams, except for Philly. Philly's got problems.
It wasn't
Philly needs more
as
than just
bad as
adjustments.
people make it seem, but I do think it might have been a little bit worse this season. Watching the NFC East play this season
Well, because you had
was
Dallas have
like watching
you had the
trains collide. You want to look
you had
away because
Dallas
you
have
don't
to
want to see
figure,
it, but
but you
it's
had
like you
Dallas
got
had
to
to
watch. If
figure
you
out
want to
how to
watch football,
play.
you got to see it.
You had to have Dallas figure out how to play without players. You had Philly just gradual, just decline down. You had
We
Washington
almost
have to
had
figure out how to play with the players that they had. Same thing with New York.
we
Like
almost had a
teams,
six and
and
ten New
yeah,
York Giant football team
I know,
winning the
I
division.
know,
If it weren't for
I
the
know.
Doug
And
Peterson screw job,
and
if it weren't for the Philadelphia screw job, New York would have made the playoffs.
well, but I ask you this: weren't this the same New York Giants that came within 2 points of beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Also,
Yeah, this is another
just
reason
to
why Tampa
say.
Bay is not getting my pick this week. This is why I'm going New Orleans over Tampa Bay. I'm giving them 4 confidence points.
Okay, so let's get the other monkey. Just let's get done, Casey. Enough said. Let's move on. As much as I'd love Cleveland Browns to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, it's never going to happen.
But if it ever would happen, not saying it will, but if it ever would happen,
It's not. It's not
if it
happening.
actually does happen,
I don't.
but I'm saying if,
You would
if,
need. You need multiple players to slip on a banana peel. Multiple.
you know what you need? You know what Cleveland needs? Cleveland needs Baker Mayfield to come out and feel dangerous. That's what they need.
And it's still it won't help. It won't help. I'm telling you, it won't help. What they
I
need
know it won't,
is for Miles
but if
Garrett.
there is a year,
They,
this would be the
they
year.
need Miles Garrett to come out and swing helmets. That's what they need.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I
not that
don't
we're
know.
condoning this, not that we're okay with this.
No,
Advocate,
no,
no, we're not
not
okay with
saying
this.
that he should. I'm saying that's their only chance.
But Nick Chubb looked pretty good.
Oh, Nick
Kareem
Chubb's
Hunt,
awesome. They're great. It's still
I
not the
know,
Kansas City freaking Chiefs. Now,
I know, I know.
on the other side, Baltimore's in for a long day. I just, as much as I love Lamar Jackson, he needs rapport. Like, I mean, I get they picked up Dez, but I mean, if there's a team that needed Jamar Chase, it's the Jacksonville. It's not Jackson. It's the Baltimore Ravens.
So
They,
you're trying to say you're going Buffalo.
I'm going Buffalo. I think Buffalo has
Buffalo.
Buffalo's the only team I see hanging with KC right now in terms of the AFC. Buffalo's has a fully complete offense, just a pure and simple complete offense. They've got guys who win short, guys who win long, and then they've got a guy who wins every single way you could possibly love someone to win. They've got a legit tight end who is a sleeper, and they've got some solid backs. And their defense is legit with a stud
You know
cornerback.
what I hate about this pick?
What?
What I really hate about this pick is that we're match up all four. We picked the same four. I'm picking Buffalo.
It's not
I
difficult.
think
It's not difficult. That's the problem right
now
now. We can't go
could I
different.
could I easily see Lamar Jackson and Baltimore beating Buffalo? Yeah, I could see it. I
I
could.
can't. Not
You know, this is
easily.
gonna
Not
be
easily.
no,
I
not
can see
easily, but
they
it definitely
beating
could
them.
happen.
I would love.
But
But
Josh
here's the
Allen,
thing. Tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Tell me you wouldn't love a Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen AFC Championship game.
that'd be fun. That would be
I'd
fun.
love it. I'd love
I'd
to
also
see it.
I'd also like to see I'd also like to see Baker and Lamar.
Baker,
I think that would be a fun
and
one.
you know something? They're making that draft class live up to its billing. You got two guys from that draft class who aren't living up. One who will never will. The other one, I think, needs just to get a better chance someplace else. You, you think he's going to be able to get that chance with the Jets? I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. Sam is destined to stay with them Jets.
I don't know. We'll see the next time we do the mocks. I'll take over the even number next time. We'll see what I do with the Jets. We'll see what I do. But for this pick, I'm going Buffalo over Baltimore. Josh Allen has just looked great this year. Baltimore is going to give him a challenge,
it's
absolutely. But Buffalo's defense
it's
has
not
really
just
done
Josh
well.
Allen.
Uh, I know Stephon Diggs has
Okay,
been there. They've just been solid all over on offense, which is really unexpected. But you know, if we can just point out Josh Allen real quick, this may
but
be the
let's also
best
point
year of
out.
his career, and he's done really well. And I think if it weren't
Well,
for Patrick Mahomes, if it weren't for Aaron Rodgers, if it weren't for Derrick Henry going over 2,000 yards, like he would probably get a lot more MVP talk. He just
he
had
might.
his
He
best
might.
year at the wrong time when it comes to awards and personal accolades. Could it do, good things for
I
Buffalo in the
just
playoffs? Absolutely, because you're right. I think Buffalo is the only team in the AFC that's going to be able to challenge Kansas City, and
they've
that's
got a
why I'm looking
solid
forward to a
D.
Buffalo KC matchup.
They've got a solid D, and they've got a legit offense.
They do. Stephon Diggs,
So we
fantastic.
got New
I'm glad
Orleans.
Minnesota got
We
rid
got
of him.
New. Well, let's speak on that real quick. Yeah, with all the wide receiver talent being flooded into the NFL, you got wide receivers getting traded for top end picks and balling out,
Yeah,
balling out. Stephon Diggs, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, balling out.
yeah, but I think that was a scenario that with Minnesota getting Justin Jefferson,
Yeah, but they didn't
I
know they were
think
getting
that
Justin Jefferson. They
no,
didn't
but I'm
know
pretty
this.
sure that was their. I got to imagine that was part of their plan all along. I don't think Justin Jefferson just fell to him. I don't think Justin Jefferson just
No, he
accidentally
did.
sets the
He did
rookie
just
record for
fall.
most receiving yards.
No,
I
no,
don't think it was
he just
accidentally,
fell to
but
them. So
well,
you
I mean, they probably figured
so
other
you
teams would
thought you
mess
think
up.
they knew that Philly was going to be stupid? You think they knew Philly
Never
because
better.
I'm telling you right now, everyone had, huh? Telling you, everyone had Justin Jefferson mocked to Philly. When the Philly pick came up, everyone was saying, "Well, this is Justin Jefferson." And then they picked Jalen Rager. Everybody's like, "Well, he's good, but Philly probably could have got him in the second round."
Okay, well, they may not have predicted that Jefferson would have been there. I think they had enough confidence with the wide receiver
Well,
talent to
I think they had
pull
a
off
number two
Diggs.
guy there. I think they. All right. I think Justin Jefferson was their top target, obviously, in terms of guys who would be there. They probably would have targeted one of the top three guys if they were there. Most likely, probably C.D. Lamb or just Jerry Judy first, and then I'm not. I wasn't the big Ruggs guy. I wasn't a big Henry Ruggs guy. I was C.D. Lamb and Jerry Judy. But then they probably
Hmm.
said, all right, Justin Jefferson's next, and then it's Brandon Ayuk, not Jalen Rager.
Well, fortunate for you, you share the same division with Philadelphia, so you get the fruits of their errors.
It's just, yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
The wide receiver talk for me, like, I mean, we've had this discussion. There's two teams in the league that I think are just dog shit at picking wide receiver. One was Philly. The other one, far worse than Philly, is Baltimore.
Yeah, you really do not like Baltimore's picks at wide receiver. You don't.
Historically, it's been bad. Historically. But then even more recent,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. This is why I can't get on with Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith wins differently. I think he's going to be a better player than Marquise Brown. But Marquise Brown was what, 170 pounds soaking wet? Yes, yes. The guy runs like 4.3 something. I don't care how fast you run, bud. If you can't
Hopefully
get
that's
open
not a
fast,
shot at Devonte Smith.
no, I'm saying
Hopefully that's not a
Devonta.
veiled shot.
Devonta, remember? No, no, I'm
Mm.
saying I think Devonta Smith is going to be a better player. But again, smaller guys, it's just not my style. And at least Devonta Smith knows how to get open soon. But guys like Hollywood Brown, was it John Ross? What's it, Tavon Austin?
All right. All right. So let's go. Let's take a look at, run through some Baltimore wide receivers they've drafted in the past. So this past year, 2020, third round, they take
Devin Duvernay.
Devin DuVernay, Texas. And then, now they got a sixth rounder. But yeah. 2019, first round, they take Marquise Brown. Third round, they double down on wide receiver. They take Miles Boykin from Notre Dame. Let's see. 2018, they added a
Who I like,
couple
who I
of.
actually.
See, they added a couple mid rounds wide receivers. 17, they didn't take one. Surprise. 16, they drafted Chris Moore out of Cincinnati in the fourth round.
Who?
2015, Brashad Perriman, first round, Central Florida. Uh, uh, Baltimore also picked Darren Waller in the sixth round. He was listed as a
Yeah, but
wide
he had
receiver when he was
problems.
drafted.
He had problems.
Yeah. And then before that, they didn't draft a wide receiver in. They drafted a wide receiver late in 14. Let's see, another one
But
late in 13. Yeah, they did. 2011, Torrey Smith. Torrey Smith,
and he was
one of the
solid.
best
He
wide
was a
receivers of
solid
that
number
bunch.
two. Solid number two.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. Try to, we need to get some more of the stuff going. I'll try to get some of this edited. We'll even putting it out there with some of the it'll be fun. But I'll get at you.
Nice.
All right.
All
So we're
right.
calling it a wraps for tonight. Everybody, don't do anything we wouldn't do and don't do some of the stuff we would.
I agree with that. I'm going to co-sign that.